Hello everyone, it's Dawn with Shall We Stamp. I'm a few minutes early. Just thought I'd get on here and make sure everything is working correctly. Of course, my dog is sitting here staring at me. Come here, Ry. You want to come up here? You want to come up here and show everybody what you look like? Do you want to come up and put your face on the camera? Oh my goodness. This is Riley, my little puppy dog. Say hi, Riley. Can you say hi to the camera? Nope. See, I don't know what you're trying to do to me. She's a mess. This is her, this time of night is her time to go walking and around the neighborhood. And of course it throws her off when I do this on Tuesdays because we usually go around 7 o'clock or a little after. Or a little before. It just depends on what mood she's in. So, but those of you that have pets can understand and relate. Hi, Adrienne. Amy Banks, hello. So at least I have my stuff working for a change, so I feel pretty proud of myself. So I guess we're not going to have much of a, well, we might have a comedy hour tonight when you see me trying to tie a bow, but anyways, I tend to be, I don't know what it is, but do y'all get are y'all bow challenged? I mean, I find that I can tie bows, but when I'm trying to do them, and then like if you're in a class or something, you become, you know, you get fumbled fingers, and of course my nails need to be trimmed down, so that doesn't help any. It's 7:01. I'll give it one more minute, and then those that pop on will just have to, just if they want to see what they've missed, which isn't much right now, they can watch the replay. So, and I thank you guys for making time to, on a Tuesday evening, or if you're out, I guess if you're West Coast, you're 3 hours, so what is it, 4 o'clock out there, and if you're Central Time, it's what, 6 o'clock? So thank you, because I know it's around dinner time. Doesn't seem like any time that we do is going to be convenient for most people, so you just have to pick one and go with it. Well, since we say we're going to start at 7, then we're going to start at 7:02, so I don't keep you all. Let me flip my camera around. Hit a button here. Okay, this is the card that we're going to be making, and thanks, Debbie, for sharing. We're using this Onto Adventure stamp set, and I bought this because we live in, and I live in an over 55 golf community, and obviously people are playing golf left and right, and I just had 2 of our neighbors this week, a male and a female, that both got hole-in-ones. So I'm making one of the card that we're here is going to go to the gentleman, and then tonight that we're going to make is, I'm going to try to make it more feminine. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we're going to try. So we're going to use this stamp set. I think it's quite cute. The old people fit in our area, but we really do. If y'all aren't familiar with the Villages, it's the largest golfing community, I think, in the States, maybe larger. We have over 600 and some holes of golf, and it just goes on and on and on forever. But anyways, it's an over 55 community, so I thought this stamp set was cute. So we're going to make this card here, which is called a flip-flop card, and I'm going to show you how you open it. Well, there's 2 ways. So here is your stamp, so your sentiment, and then you pull this here. Now, you may have to put a little sticky note here, like a sticky pad, a little cut-it out little piece that says pull. I made this for my husband's cousin, and he didn't realize he had to pull this, so anyway, so if you pull it, it flips open, ta-da, and then it says, wishing you everything wonderful, and then you open it just like a regular card, and then there's your sentiment right there. So I think that's pretty cool. Isn't that neat? So it's really not a difficult card to make. It's just a lot of pieces to it. So we're going to make this, and then I thought, since we're using this stamp set, we go ahead, I'm going to make a box using these, since there's 4 people. And I know we all probably know how to make boxes, but I saw a demonstrator over, I think she was in the UK, I'm not sure, who made the box, and then we put all of the different characters on here. But the one thing that I really liked was how she wrapped how she wrapped the ribbon around. I'm not real good about doing that, but how she wrapped it and tied it into a bow. She tucked it under, which I had never seen that before. So anyways, I thought we'd make this evening as well. Okay? You never hurts to have enough boxes. And this opens, and I'll show you when we get ready to make it. This opens in the front right here. It's got a flap, so this is the front. All right, so let's go ahead and get started making this card. Now, I know I try to do it in this direction so that y'all can see the card. I may have to revert to twisting it around for myself just so that I can see what I'm doing. And I'll put a tutorial together and post it tomorrow on the site. We are using the stitched nested framelits, and we're going to, let me get out my paper and then I'll tell you what sizes that we're going to make. Let me move that down there for just a minute. Hang on one second. I'm using Blackberry Bliss. I was trying to find something that I could use that would be a little bit more feminine, which is kind of hard because I was using this Petal Pink from the Magnolia paper. That's the only paper I could find that I thought would be, you know, feminine enough to do. So anyways, we're going to do Blackberry Bliss. Now, the first thing you're going to do is just cut your cardstock at your normal 5.5 by 8.5 and score it at 4 1/4. So that's the card base. So for now, we're just going to set that aside. Now, I am using the nested framelits, and I'm using, now I'm not sure how you all look at them, but I'll show you what I did. This is the largest one, so I used this one to cut out 2 of these of the same designer paper, and then I used the next size up to cut out a white, Whisper White cardstock, and then I used this one to cut out, I'm sorry, I used this one for that, and then this second one here is going to be for this one here. Does that make sense? I hope so, but I'll put it in the tutorial for you. And then you'll also need a classic label punch, and I'll show you when we get to that. And so let me go ahead and move him away. Now, if you're just joining us, we're making this flip-flop. For those that are just joining, this is what's called a flip-flop card. So we're going to open it. It opens like this, and then you click, and then it opens like a regular card. Okay. All right. So we've got our Blackberry Bliss. That's 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And of course, we want to use our bone folder to make it crisp and crease and make the card lay flat. So we're just going to set that off to the side. So now I've already pre-cut a lot of this stuff just to save time, obviously. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my card base. I lied. I'm going to bring it back out. Excuse me. I've got a 4.5 by 5. I'm sorry, 4 by 5 1/4. Pardon me. Piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I've cut 4-inch, half-inch strips by 4 inches of the Whisper of the Petal Pink. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach that. Just kind of dress up a little bit of the inside of the card. So I'm just going to put that down, leave a little bit of the white, showing. And let me get, whoops, we don't want it like that because that's crooked. We'll get that on there. And then if anything's hanging over, I'll trim it off. And then we're going to do one at the bottom. Okay. And I just realized that I don't know. Oh, yes, I do. I have it. Never mind. I'm thinking faster than my brain. All right. Now I got this one. Hold on a minute. Stripes don't do well when you're trying to lay them down. So let me just get this straightened up. All right. So that's how we're going to decorate the inside of the card. And then we're going to stamp it. And I'll do that when we get done because I'm going to, let me just trim that off. I'll pull the stamp set out when we get ready to attach that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take these 2 pieces here, which I want the Petal Pink stripe. So I'm going to adhere these. And the reason I'm doing that, and I'll show you in just a minute, when you flip this card over, I didn't want the back side of this paper to show. So that's why we're going to put 2 back to back, okay? So we're just going to line these up to the best that we can. And see, let me see, hang on a minute. It's hard to, you know, I have to stand up. I'm not sure if y'all do that. But plus I've got lights on in here and it lays shadows everywhere. And I've got to get a better lighting system. Actually, I've got a good lighting system. I just need to move my desk. But I've got my craft room set up with using IKEA tables and everything. So, all right, so that's what we're going to do. And if it's a little crooked, you can go back and trim that off. I'm not going to worry about it for now. But, you know, right there, I do have it off a little crooked, but I can trim that. So, all right, so that's the first thing that we're going to do. Then you're going to have another piece of Whisper White cardstock that's cut at almost 3 3/4. So like a smidge shorter than that by 5. Okay. And then the Petal Pink, and again, I'll put a tutorial out. The Petal Pink is going to be a little bit smaller, just so we have a small, that's going to be 4 3/4 and by 3 1/2. Okay, and I'm just going to adhere these two because I'm going to put, I just want to have a little bit of a white edge. Now, on the other card I did, not this one, but I did one before, I thought about maybe doing the Subtles embossing folder just to give this a little bit of something so it's not so plain, but it's okay. I'm going to go with this. So, all right, so right now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our classic label punch, and we've got to make a slot for our pull, okay? So just push it in as far as you can, and just make sure that it's centered in your cardstock. And then just punch it out, and that's what we're going to use. That's going to be our hole for our pull, okay? And we're not going to glue this down yet until we're ready to do that. Put this in the trash. All right, and the next thing is we've cut a piece of Blackberry Bliss, and this is at 2 inches by 5 3/4, and I've scored it at 1 3/4 and 2 1/4. And this is going to be our mechanism that we're going to use for doing our pull, okay? All right, so we'll do that in just a second. Let me go ahead and stamp my images of what we're going to do. So we're going to, and I didn't stamp these, which I wasn't thinking. I guess I should have, because now you get to watch me color, and I don't think I brought the right colors in, but we'll just make it work. I'm doing this for a female, and I can't really use the male golfer, so I think I'm going to use this lady right here, so where to me it looks like she's like kind of doing like a little happy dance. So that's what I'm going to do. We're just going to stamp her on the front. And then the first thing that I'm going to do is stamp the words are ready for that hole in one. And I'm just going to stamp it in Memento black ink. We'll go ahead and stamp that. These cling stamps are really clingy. I'm glad that they have them, but my goodness, sometimes they're a lot clingier than you want. So I'm just going to stamp this right about here at the top. And again, I'm doing it this way so that I can see it. Sorry, guys. And then we'll come back and we'll stamp the lady. So she looks like she's doing the happy dance. So hopefully I'm in the camera. It looks like I am. All right, so we're going to prop her up and get her. I'm going to stamp off just a little bit. All right, and I'm going to stamp her kind of in the center here. And then we'll come back. She won't be much to color. All right, so we'll go ahead and get that done. We'll clean this off. And then we're going to stamp one more thing. Now, what I'm going to do is on the inside, I'm going to put one of the sentiments in this card is wishing you everything wonderful. So I'm going to stamp that. And then I'm going to make a flag so that since she's playing golf and she got a hole in one, I'm going to make a flag. So we're going to stamp this right about here. Okay, and then I'm going to make a flag. So on the flag, I'm going to take the scraps from where I cut out the larger dies. See how that kind of looks like a flag right here? So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to, I've got a little piece of black that I cut a strip that I'm going to attach it to make it look like the flagpole. So I'm going to cut this right here off, and I'm going to cut around the dots. So just bear with me a minute. I'm going to do that, okay? And then we're going to take, whoops, that's a little, I guess it really doesn't matter. A flag could be kind of crooked, huh? All right, so we'll just get the bottom kind of straight. And then the top, I'm just going to do a little wavy thing to make it look like the flag, you know, like it's waving. Okay. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to do is just attach that to my, I'm going to put some adhesive on this little, I don't know if you all can see, I'm just going to attach a little bit of adhesive on here. And then I'm going to attach that to this part of the flag. Okay. And just get that on there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive. If you can see, I'm doing this on the back of my die thingy. I don't need all that because my flag is not going to be that long. So I'm going to put the flag like a little bit out of an angle, about like that. And then I'll just cut this bottom piece off. Okay, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Isn't that cute? All right, so we've got the flag on there. And it kind of looks like it's waving, doesn't it? Probably because I didn't put enough adhesive, but that's all right. We'll get that fixed. Okay, so we have the flag on there. And let's color in our lady, and then we will move on with putting everything together, and then we'll start doing the working mechanism. So I think I'm going to just color her. Let's see. I guess we'll do, what is this? Ivory. All right, let me color. I'm going to do her face. Ivory. I was going to do her hair gray, but I don't have it in here. I'm going to have to go get some. I was going to do it the granite gray. Maybe I'll do it, make her look like she's blonde. So I'm just going to color her in. This is the Ivory blend. And it looks like she's doing yoga because she's got her fingers up like that, but that's okay. We're going to just act like she's happy that she's, there's her little foot. She is doing yoga. But we're going to pretend that she's just happy she got a hole in one. All right, so we're going to color our, let's see, let's color our flower that's in her hair. Let's just do this rich razzleberry. And then I'm going to color her outfit in Calypso Coral. I don't know why, just because. And I think I'll just leave her hair like that. So let me just go through here. And this is the light Calypso Coral. And we'll just color her. This won't take long. And come around. Try not to go out of the edges. I tell you what, these lights in here are making me hot. Whew. All right, so we're going to color her, and then I'm going to come back with my dark, because I'm going to add a little bit of, I'm just going to add the shading where this area is here, that I'm assuming that's what the artist did. So we're just going to put a little shading right here, and then I'll pull that back through. Do y'all like using it? Do y'all use these blends? Do you like them? I tell you what, I've used so much of my Calypso Coral that my little other tip, my smaller tip is, I think it's dried out. I'm going to have to order another line, so I need to go back and fix that. All right, so we'll take our white cleaner upper thingy, and we're just going to push that. See that ink right there? I'm just going to push it back, and what this does is it moves the ink back. It gets it paper wet, but it pushes the ink back into the line where it needs to go. Okay, so there's that. I think that's everything. I think that's all I'm going to do. Just color it like that. We're going to leave it like that for now. Make it quick and simple. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and adhere this to the front. This is our front of our card. So we're going to attach that, and we're going to attach that to the front here. So we're just going to lay it on here, and of course, you know, it's using the nested die, so it fits right in there. So it looks like we know what we're doing. And then the next piece is this one. So let me put a little bit of adhesive right on this flag, because that is flopping just a tad. So we'll flap him down. Okay, now here comes the part that we need to do. All right, so the key here is we're going to take and put adhesive here and attach this right up to where it folds, okay? And then we're going to fold this flat. So this is that ½ inch section between the score lines. We're going to put some tear and tape here. And then this guy is going to get laid on here like that and centered, okay? So that's what we're going to do right now. So let me put, and I'm going to use the Tombow, even though I don't like it. I'm going to use it because it makes it easier if you're trying to move your card around, you know, trying to get something positioned. So I'm going to put Tombow on this. I don't know why it is. I said this last week. It just, I don't know. I always get it on my hands and it's sticky and it just drives me crazy. So that's all right. Okay, so we're going to take our wishing you everything. So we're going to put that, there's my score line right there. And so I'm going to lay it right almost up to the edge of the score line and make sure that it's there. So it is. I'm going to wipe that glue off. Now we're going to take, excuse me, a piece of tear and tape, and we're going to attach the tear and tape to this section right here. All right. So we're going to put that right about there. I hope that this is still working. I hope it doesn't keep pausing on you all. That would be a little frustrating, don't you think? All right, so we're going to put that there. So now we're going to take and peel this off. And you can use your pick tool, but I always use my scissors. I guess it's, old habits, right? And we're going to take this one. Now, this one we want to lay down, and we want to make sure we've got it centered. And we're going to line that right up almost to the edge. And I think that probably looks pretty good. Let me see, maybe I need to come down just a little bit. I don't want to stick it yet since we've got that tear tape on there. I think that probably looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. Whoops, right about there. Okay. All right. So far so good. Now I need to take, which I should have done before I started, but it's okay. We're going to use the scallop topper punch. I hope this thing is still in the catalog. If it's not, I apologize. I'm going to push this thing in here, but I'm not going to push it in all the way because we've got to have our little, attachment. I'm just going to push it in enough to where it gets me a little bit of that scallop part, okay? So I should have done that first, but that's all right. It's still working. Okay, so that's going to be our pull mechanism, right? So we're going to pull it, and once it gets laid down, it will work. So now the next thing, we're going to put some tear and tape right here because that's going to hold it onto this. So when it pulls, it's going to force these two to open up. And again, I'll put a PDF tutorial on the site tomorrow. All right, so let's get some tear and tape right here. We're going to put some here, and that's going to give us, whoopsie, that should be enough to hold it. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put this through here, all right? So this is our mechanism. And let me do it this way so that y'all can see. Get it through the hole. All right, so if it's laying down on the card, then we're going to pull. Now again, keep in mind this is going to have a cover over it. So then we're going to pull it, and it's going to go whoop, open, right? So once I push that down, it's going to hold it in place. All right, so let me go ahead and get that done, and then we will attach our card. What do y'all think? Do you like this card? I think it's kind of cool. I watched Kelly Atchison, if y'all are familiar with her. She did this card about, I don't know, a couple of days ago or a week, whatever, and I just fell in love with it. And I thought, oh, what a clever idea. I love fun fold cards. So that to me is just the ideal. All right, give me just a minute now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this so that I can get this centered on my card so that when we go to pull it, it will be centered on my card. So I'm going to push that down, whoops, right about there so I can get that piece to stick. All right, so now if we pull our flap, see, it's going to open. All right, so now this white piece, we're going to attach this to that. All right, so we're going to put adhesive everywhere but here. Okay, and I think I'm going to do tear and tape because it's going to be pulling. So let's just put some tear and tape down. Do y'all find when you use tear and tape that you cut it? What's with that? I do that all the time. I'm not sure why, but I don't know. Just kind of strange, isn't it? All right, so we're going to cut that there, and then we're going to twist this around. I'm not good about measuring, looking at something and being able to determine how much how much I need to tear off. So it's just easier for me to put it on there and cut it. And then I'll just do a couple of little side. Now this I can probably cut. We'll do a little bit side pieces here. And then we'll be ready to put this on the card. Whoops, now see, we don't want to get that on there. So take that off. We're going to put that one right there. All right, so let me go around and peel all of these off. That my neighbor likes this. She got a hole-in-one the day before yesterday, and one of the gentlemen down the street, he got one the end of last week, I think it was. Both of these cards will go out in the mail tomorrow to congratulate them for their hole-in-ones. I play golf. I don't play that often, and I'm not that great, but I got close once. Thought I was going to get a hole-in-one, which I about would have had a heart attack probably. Because and my husband, he's pretty good, and he always tells me I take too long. You're holding up people, and I'm like, look, if you want me to play, then just leave me alone and let me do my thing. Because you got to think about it, and when you still don't really understand, know what you're doing, you can't. You got to take your time. Peel all of that off. And then we're going to set this on our card base. So we will put that on here. We're just going to center this on the card. And again, this is that Blackberry. Let me go ahead and stamp my sentiment. So I'm going to use the sentiment in the stamp set says congratulations on your next adventure, but I don't want that. So I'm going to color. Yeah, that fits with my black Stampin' Right marker. Just the part that says congratulations. So that's the nice thing about when I first started Stampin' Up. started stamping. I had no idea what this was, but it was, I bought all of the markers because it was easier to have all the colors than buying all the ink pads, you know, especially if you don't know if you're going to follow through with it or not, right? So I did that, and it was a great way because I could color, I had all the colors and was able to color anything that I wanted that matched all the stuff. All right, so we're going to put this on here for congratulations, and then I'll write a message to her later. All right, there we go. That was perfect. Let me put that over there, and then we'll go ahead and attach this to the inside of the card. Oh, you know what I did? I forgot to glue this to the white piece of card. I forgot to put it on there. Oh my goodness, I just caught it. Oh well, I guess we're not going to have a white piece on that front of that card. I was too busy talking and not paying attention. So, and don't make my mistakes. Just make sure that when you attach that, you attach it to the white piece. It does give it a little bit of, you know, a little bit of, so you can see the mechanism. So I will probably need to, since it blends in, I'm going to have to put a little thing here to tell her she's going to have to pull this. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to use some of the hemp twine. That's a little bit thick. It's a little bit thicker. So we're just going to, I'm just going to take a piece and cut it. Oh, I don't think we need that much. And we're just going to loop it around. Hopefully that'll give them the clue. But again, I cannot believe I forgot to put that on the white, but that happens. So I'm just going to fold that through like you do a luggage tag. So I'm just going to pop it through there and then pull my tails and tighten that down. Okay, so there is our card, less the white piece that should have been behind the petal pink. So there you go. It says ready for that hole-in-one, and then you open it and it says wishing you everything wonderful, and then open the inside, it says congratulations. So there is a cute fun fold. All right, so there's the first card. Now we'll move on to the box. I hope you all enjoyed that. Those that are just joining, we are making, using the same stamp set, and we're going to make this box. And I know that we probably all have made boxes before, but I just thought this was a cute box with this stamp set, because, you know, you wonder what in the world are you going to use all these for. So I thought that was cute. And especially the stamp set talks about, you know, happy retirement or moving on. So, you know, this could be, if you know somebody that's retiring, you could buy, put some a small gift in there, or some candy, whatever, you know. So I thought that would be something that would be really cute, and then it would go, would be really nice. So when you untie this is what I found quite interesting, is how she tied this ribbon. Maybe y'all know this, but anyways, the way the lady tied it, and I'll show you when I get ready, I'll probably be all thumbs, but she took one piece and went under the loops. But I just thought it was pretty clever. And then it opens up, and I've got it to where everything is popped up on dimensional, so you're not going to lose the ribbon. And then we open the box in the front, and then it's a pretty good size box. So let's get started with that. Now, let me pull in, I'm using the second largest Stitch Shapes square, and I'm using Coastal Cabana, and I'll give you the measurements here in just a minute. I'm using Coastal Cabana ink, paper, and then I'm using Bermuda Bay for the mats, and the mats are 2 1/4 square. Yeah, so the mats are 2 1/4 square, and then this second largest stitched square fits perfectly on that. So that's what we're going to do, and I've already colored all the other ones in, so we just have that one to color. So that'll be the last thing we do. And then let me bring in my new paper tray. All right, we're going to cut this down to 8 by 10.5. So let me open up the arm to my paper cutter. And we're going to move this over to 8 inches. And then we're going to turn it and cut it down to 10.5. That's all the cutting that we're going to do. Now we're going to score. And we're going to score on the long side. We're going to start at 2.5 inches. So we're going to score that. And then we're going to move this over to 5 inches. So we're at the 5 mark. And I'm going to score there. And then we're going to move over to 7.5. Score that one. And then the next one on this side is going to be at 10. which will then leave us a 1/2 inch on this side. All right, then we're going to turn it to the 8-inch side, and we're going to score again at 2.5 inches. All right, so 2.5 here. Then we're going to move this over to 5 inches. We're at the 5. We're going to score that there. And then we're going to come back and move this over to 7.5. And I always butt mine up to the top here so that it doesn't move. All right, so now we've got our 7.5. Okay, so we're done with our trimmer. Now we're going to go ahead and score our score lines and burnish them with our bone folder. And then I'll turn this one around this way, and it should be right about there. Okay, and then we're going to do, it's always hard on the little ones, you know, the 1/2 inch pieces to get them to lay flat, so we'll just get that one scored. Okay, all right, and then we're going to turn it, and then burnish the edges on this side, and then on this side as well. All right, now, so what we're going to do, we've got everything folded and scored. So we're going to take this side here, and I am going to start cutting up all the way up here, and we're going to remove this, and I probably should use long scissors, but we're going to remove this flap right here. All right, so we're going to take this one away. All right, now we're going to come over to here to this side. All right, so this one we're going to cut up to the left of the score line. This will probably be my lid, so I don't want that score line there. That's going to limit our opening of the box. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this down to the score line, and then this one we're going to cut up to the score line, and that one there. I'll go ahead and cut all of these up, and then I'm going to come back and then show you what we're going to do. It'd be easier because then I can fold the pieces out of the way. And these little scissors, I would recommend if you have the long shears that we used to have, or longer scissors, that would work. Paper snips. Okay, so this one here, we're going to cut it short. Okay, so this one I'm just going to cut it down to about here, because we got to fold our box and we don't want all these pieces to be in the way, right? And then I'm going to wedge this just a little bit to make it easier to close. So you know how sometimes when you close a box it gets in the way. Now this one I'm going to wedge it as well, because this is going to be another fold. All right, and we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, so this one we're fine. Now this one I'm going to cut the edge. I'm going to wedge just a little bit because I've got the score line here, so I'm just going to come up on the right side of the score line, and we're just going to cut it right up to the score line right here. Okay, and then just trim that off. Here we're going to do the small wedge on this one as well, so we will cut this about right. It doesn't have to be exact, but we'll just cut it right here. Okay, so we're going to cut that one off, and then we're going to this one we're gonna wedge this one as well, and you can see that I've got the score line right there, so we're going to just wedge this one and get rid of that piece right there. Let me just snip that. All right, so we're going to move that piece off, and then we're going to wedge this piece. A lot of folding piece, so we're just going to wedge this one as well. So that just makes the box easier to close. All right, so we'll move those pieces out of the way. Okay, so we're good with that. Now we're going to flip it around. Now this is going to be the bottom of our box. Okay, so again, we don't want this piece right here, so we're going to remove this, and I'm going to wedge this because that's going to fold in. And then we're going to take this one off, and then we're just going to cut these down the score line, and I'm probably going to come back. I'm going to wedge each of these just a little bit because these are going to fold, and we're just going to make it a little bit easier. Cut that, and then we're going to just cut this one up just a little bit. And again, if you have the long shears, it makes it a little bit easier because you can usually do it in one little whack. And you can see this one I've got, let me fold this one back so you can see, just so it's out of the way. I've got the score line right here, so I'm just going to wedge this one just a little bit. I'm just going to cut it off just so it makes it a little bit easier to close. Snip that one there, and we're going to do the same thing on this one. It's a little bit, the score lines, for whatever reason, sometimes it just, at that 1/8 of an inch or so really affects the way the box will close. To alleviate that, we're just going to get rid of it. All right, so this one I'm going to cut on this side of the score line, and then I'm going to cut on this one. I'm going to cut on this side of the score line as well, and that should help with our closing of the box. We'll snip that off, and this side should be good. Okay, all right, so this is where we are with our box. All right, now we're going to go ahead and put our box together, and the first thing we're going to do is put some adhesive on this small flap right here. So we'll go ahead and add some liquid glue. It gives us a little bit more strength and then the ability to move it around so we get it positioned right. And since this is folded, all we're going to do is fold this over, and it's going to lay right on top of that. We want to make sure our box is laying completely flat. So let's make sure we do that so that it folds correctly. All right, now we should be ready to start closing up our box. So let me get this opened. Open this up just a little bit here. There we go. All right, now we have our box. That's going to be our bottom, correct? And this is our top. What I'm going to do is, now see how that, oh, we didn't cut this off. That's my fault. See that little fold line right there? That needed to be cut off, and I didn't do that. So we're going to cut that right there. That's my mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. Cut this one. Oh, wait, we need one of them. We need one because this is the top of the box. So that's my mistake. So sorry. Okay, so this is the top of the box, right? You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to cut off my one piece. So we have the two flaps, right? All right, so I want this to be the front of my box then. So this piece here, we've got to remove. All right, that's my mistake. I should have cut that off. I thought I did, but I didn't. But that's okay because we can just cut it right here, right along this edge here. We'll be fine. All right, so that's going to fold in, and then this is our lid. So we're just going to fold that right inside. Actually, let me wedge these. That will make it a little bit easier. I thought I had done that, but I guess I didn't. That's going to make it a little bit easier for the box to close. Okay, so we're going to put that right in there. Okay, so the box is in there and it's closed. Now, this is our front, correct? So we want these to go in this way, this one to this way, and then we want the front to come back so it's clean, looks clean, right? So we're going to put some our Tombow glue on here, and then once we get the glue on, we'll turn it over and we'll push down from the inside. All right, so we're going to push the left side down, the right side over. Give that just a little push. Now remember, this is our opening, so this one we want to go down next. So we're going to put some adhesive on here. Those of you that know me know I do not like liquid glue. It just drives me crazy because it just gets all over everywhere. And I don't like it sticking to my fingers. But it does work because you can use it and move stuff around when you need to. So again, we want this one to close this way, and we want to make sure we get it squared up. And then the last piece that we're going to do is move that and put some of this here. Put little dots right there so we make sure we get it closed. And then this is going to close up right there. So that's our bottom, right? We are going to open it up, and we're going to take our bone folder, and we're going to push down in here to make sure that gets all nice and adhered, okay? All right, there you go. So there's the box. Now we'll go ahead and add our ribbon. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add our ribbon. So this is the front of our box right here. So I'm just going to hold this piece right here, and we're going to bring it up, and then I'm going to put it under my finger, and I'm going to twist it this way. I know it's a little convoluted there. All right, so I've got this one here. I'm holding this piece here, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring this guy up, and we're going to tuck him under here. Now push down on the lid a little bit, but I'll bring that back up. So we've got it pushed down there. I'm just going to bring this one over. You see how it's got, I'm going to make sure my ribbon's positioned, and I'm going to tie this in a knot to hold it taut. And it's not going to make a tight knot, but I want to hold it enough to where it's going to hold the ribbon on the box. So I'm going to pull it, and we're just going to get it just enough to where everything is positioned. And we're going to pull it like that, and then we'll tie our bow. You know, having fingernails sometimes can be a little bit of a disadvantage. I don't know how ladies do it when they have long fingernails. All right, so we're going to pull our bow in, and we're going to pull to the left to tighten it and keep our flat top. So we're just going to hold this right here a little bit, and I'm going to shorten my bows, And then I'm going to pull it taut one more time. Perfect. And then we'll take the ribbon scissors and we're going to trim up our tails. There's our box. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our panels. So let me get those here. I've already got this Stampin' dimensionals on them. The front of the box is right here. I think I'm going to put the lady that we colored, and I'm going to make sure I get my ribbon straight. So we're going to put her right here on the box, and I'm using the Bermuda Bay for the mat. And this will make, you know, for a retirement card, this will make, you know, such a cute little box that if somebody's retiring, you can give them some candies or, you know, a gift card or something small that would fit in here. And what I'm doing now is I'm just placing the 4 characters, because there's 2 men and 2 women, so I'm just going to place them on opposite sides. So I'm going to put the females. All right, we're going to put her right there. And then the last one, we're going to put the golfer on this side. And I love this. I think this is such a cute card. Box. So you give this as a gift to somebody with your coordinating card. How cool is that for a retirement box? And you can use this box for anything. Isn't that cute? All right, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. If you need to order any supplies, you can go to my online store at shallwestamp.com. And during the month of November of 2019, you can use this host code. And when you do that, then you will receive a free gift from me. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next video.